What's up, Nerferders? Welcome back to another episode of the N.A.P. It's still a crazy week. We're just getting started. I opened up my photo sessions back again, and everything just kind of came flooding in. So I'm swamped. So that's why we're a day late, coming in on Tuesday instead of a Monday. But we're back, and that's what's important.
That's good. That means you're a high commodity, man. That's good to hear.
I'm a reasonably high commodity. We'll say mid floor.
Yeah, okay.
We'll say waist level commodity. How are you, Mr. Josh? How are we doing today?
I'm good, man. I tell you, 34 is putting me through the ringer. I really messed up my ankle last week. Yeah, I know. I messed up my ankle last week, and then I tweaked my back 2 nights ago. So yeah, if I didn't feel old to begin with, I feel old right now. So,
well, that's good because I think I don't know if we bring up the Emmys. I guess getting kind of old is a reasonable description.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I never watched the Emmys. I didn't really care. Like watching them themselves was just like, I don't care. Let's Google the results later. Let's see what happens. That was about the end of it for me. It was like, because honestly, like seeing the acceptance speech and like people getting all cheesy about it, being like, oh yeah, I was like, I just didn't care. I just didn't care. And I'm pulling up the winners list here now. I feel especially bad because like 3 of the big shows that actually pulled stuff off, I haven't seen a single episode of.
Like, oh, you're missing out. Yeah, you were missing out.
Yeah. That's what I'm being told. So I haven't seen any of the Watchmen. I haven't seen Schitt's Creek. And looks like Succession did another one. I haven't even heard of that show, which is a
well. I don't watch. I mean, I don't watch most of the. I barely even watch the Oscars. I'll plug in the last hour just to see if someone reads the wrong envelope again. But that's about it. But that was the Oscars, yeah. So I mean, but that's it. I don't watch the Oscars. I don't watch a lot of them unless it's kind of like the last, like the Super Bowl. I come in for the last second and see what's up. But I was interested to see what the Emmys were going to do with COVID and everything. And from the stuff that I did see, they did not disappoint in terms of cringiness because it was so cringy. I mean, they went the safe route and had Jimmy Kimmel as the host. And so anytime he's the host, it's going to be cringy because that's just what he does best. He does cringy best. And I'm not a huge fan of him. But if you put him on screen and you take away the live audience and there's no laugh track, then you're guaranteed to get that much more cringe. And I remember they started it off with a gag of him introducing Jennifer Aniston. So Jennifer Aniston walks on stage or green screen stage or whatever they're on, and they're like half a block apart. And she's like, thanks for having me, Jimmy. And he does the whole stick of, what? I can't hear you. And she's like, thanks for having me at the Emmys. And he's like, I have sexy feet. What? And something about like, he's like, oh, I thought we were supposed to say 60 feet apart instead of 6 feet. And I could just like, there was no sound because there was no audience, but I could still hear the groans, like the groans of the internet. Just like, no.
How have I not seen memes of that already?
Oh, it was so bad. Maybe because nobody was watching. And then they then they did something about like he was gonna hand her the envelope and they needed to sanitize it. So they literally set it on fire. And like 10 minutes later, I'm like, this gag is still going. Just announce the winners already. So I turned it off. I was like, well, that piqued my interest enough. And then, like you, I popped back on to see who the winners were later. And yeah, you said it, Schitt's Creek. Holy shit. They came away with so much. The lead actor, Eugene Levy, which is the famous dad from
Oh yeah.
what am I trying to say, from American Pie. He came away with an Emmy. Let's see here. Let me go to Schitt's Creek. Let's see who else. The lead actress, Catherine O'Hara, she came away with the Emmy. Supporting actor Daniel Levy, who's Eugene Levy's son, he came away with Best Supporting Actor. And then the sister on the show, Annie Murphy, came away with Best Supporting Actress. So, and then on top of that, they also got, I think they got writing and outstanding series as well. So they just came away heavy with like every comedy award you could get. And they deserve it. This show is phenomenally funny. You need to check it out. It's one of those like super like zone out shows. You don't need to pay attention to it, but it's guaranteed to crack you up. And it's basically about like an uber rich family with spoiled ass kids. And the dad, I don't know if he was embezzling or something happened, but his company went through the floor and they lost everything. And the only thing they have to their name was the ownership or the land in this town called Schitt's Creek. And so they move into this rundown like Motel 8 there and have to live as like regular people. And it's fucking hilarious.
Sounded
it's a good show.
The first few sentences, I thought you were describing Arrested Development. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. It was starting to. I was like, this show isn't what I thought it was. Oh no, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara. Like, I remember them specifically. It was about it was a movie they did. It was like a parody of like dog shows. God, what was that movie called?
I know what you're talking. It wasn't Best in Show.
It is, yeah, Best in Show.
Is it? Okay.
Best in Show. Thank you. That movie is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, absolutely hilarious. Like, I love that parodizing style of comedy. Eugene Levy, I mean, he's typecast pretty aggressively as kind of like the awkward dad or the but I love him in anything. He's like, I remember like, I didn't see American Pie for a while, but like it didn't interest me at first when I was in my teens either, because it was just like I don't know. The movie that I saw Eugene Levy in that I actually really liked is actually kind of a shitty movie, but it was actually The Man with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah, I know that movie.
Like, not the greatest movie, but still
sure
really funny. And that's when I kind of like started watching him and other stuff. And I guess I need to give it a shot. Where's that streaming at? Is it streaming?
Well, it's on Netflix. Yeah. I mean, it's not a Netflix show, but Netflix carries it afterwards, and the final season's about to drop. Okay. But yeah, Eugene's great in it. Catherine O'Hara as his wife, as like this, she's so set apart. Oh yeah, that's right. Home Alone mom. She's so set apart. Like, she's just used to the rich life, and she had like 5 seconds of actress fame and thinks that she's like, the modern day Marilyn Monroe or something. And so she's just so disconnected. The sister is like the most ditzy as hell. And then Daniel Levy, Levy's son in real life, he plays the son on the show. And he is like the meme and GIF god of this show. If you any type of meme or GIF you search on Facebook, he's got like 5 of the top 10 for like every topic. So the show is fantastic. They're all fantastic. And yeah, they just cleaned house with their noms. But then you mentioned another show, Watchmen did fantastic. And man, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, I guess this is a reoccurring thing with me and you, but I am shocked that you haven't seen this show, because it is phenomenal. It is so good.
I told you, man, there's a lot of stuff that you get angry at me for not seeing.
I said shocked. I didn't say angry. I said
I'm
shocked.
I'm behind the curve like a lot. I don't know, man. I'm just busy. Like when it comes to a new show, I really want to sit down and watch it. Like I really want to sit down and focus it. Right now, The Boys is taking up that time slot. And when I do watch a show, I generally tend to want to make that be something that me and Cece watch together. Because when I do have that time, it's like, all right, I'm sitting down, I'm not doing anything, I'm going to focus on the show. Let's spend some quality time together too. And so like, I don't binge it unless she's there. And generally I don't finish up with everything that I have to do throughout the day until like 8 or 9 o'clock. And then I've got like a couple hours left in the day before I got to go to bed to get ready to go to work.
Right.
And so I am behind by like a lot. I'm halfway through the first season of Breaking Bad. Like that's how far I've gotten in. Like that,
yeah,
like I'm really
you have
redefined
what behind means. Then yes, that's true.
I stopped watching Walking Dead after season 5, I think.
Yeah,
it might be 4. No. It was I was just about to start seasons. I don't know. He had spoiler alert. He had just killed some cannibals in a church.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a pretty badass scene. You ended on a high note.
Man, that was fucking awesome.
I love that scene.
There was a few episodes after that.
Yeah, that's like second or third. That's third season. Yeah,
that's third season.
Yeah, because second season is mostly on the farm, which is why most people hated it. It might even be later. Prison. Oh, that's right. It might be. Is it fourth season?
4th or 5th, okay, somewhere in there. I don't know, but maybe somebody
before the halfway point. Yeah.
No, like that. Like whenever there's been a block, like Game of Thrones is the only series that I finished, and it bit me in the ass, and I hated it. I loved the first 4. I loved the first 4 seasons. 5 was good, but not as amazing. And then 6, 7, and 8 it was just a whoosh.
Well, let me sell you on Watchmen then. Watchmen, it was like the perfect balance of a show for people who've never watched the movie or read the comic, a show for people who'd read the comic, and a show for people who'd watched the movie. Because it is a pseudo sequel to the movie, but only if the movie had the ending of the comic. There's a lot of references to the movie. There's a lot of references to the comic, but then it's the story beyond. It's got new characters that aren't in the comic or the movie, and it's got its own story. So it was very well done to the fact that I could watch it with somebody that had never read the comic or watched the movie, and they could understand, and it's very well done. And then if anything, that gave me hope for this, for this show is the fact that Regina King is in it. She is awesome in like everything she does. And especially on TV, she carried the show Southland for years. She was recently in 7 Seconds, which she also won an Emmy for. She's a badass, and she's a badass in this show as well. And it was just a great show. And so to hear that, it was very high concept. To hear that she won lead actress, the Emmy for best lead actress in a limited series. They won overall limited series, and then the guy that was supposed to be starring in the upcoming Candyman won best supporting actor in a limited series. So they nailed it. It's a fantastic show. I definitely recommend you adding it to, a higher priority on your list of catch-up shows. But I don't think you'd be disappointed. It was short enough to really keep a tight story, but long enough to tell a compelling arc. So I really appreciated it, and it's definitely one of HBO's best.
Does it have one? Is it one of the shows where, like, when it finishes out, it actually finishes out, and it could go on, but it doesn't have to?
Yes. Yeah, I think it could go on. However, the creators, or at least the showrunners for this show, have stated that they didn't have plans on a sequel, and I don't think they're not working on a sequel right now. So it's a very contained story, but yeah, it's got an ending that's not a cliffhanger, but it could allow for more in the universe if they wanted to. And then on top of that, it had a soundtrack by Trent Reznor, which was just, oh my gosh, anything he does is fantastic. He is crazy good at soundtracks.
He tends to knock it out of the park. He's went from 9 Inch Nails to like just an absolutely bomb composer.
Yeah.
And
He's fantastic.
yeah, absolutely.
And then one more thing. Speaking of Watchmen, Billy Crudup, who played Mr. Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan in the original Watchmen movie, he won for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series for The Morning Show. And I'm not going to lie, when I saw the trailer for The Morning Show, when what is it? Apple TV first announced, their kind of opening lineup, I was not like impressed. I did not think the trailer looked that great. I was like, yeah, sure, they got great cast: Steve Carell, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Billy Crudup. They definitely got a cast, but nothing about that trailer sold me. But enough of my friends had watched it and told me to check it out, and I could not stop watching that show. It was really, really good, super compelling. It's definitely fiction. It is not a retelling of what was it? Was it Good Morning America? That happened with what's his face that had the button, and
I think so.
Who am I thinking of? Good Morning America host with the button in his room. A weird dude. Maybe it wasn't Good Morning America. I don't know. You know who I'm talking about though, right? The morning host that was like super pervy, and he had
it's Matt Lauer, isn't it?
Matt Lauer, yeah, that's who. Yeah, so it's not he was on the Today Show, not Good Morning America. He was on the Today Show. It's not like
I just know he was the rapey one.
Yeah, that's and it's not their version of his story.
He's the rapey one that got caught, at least.
Yeah. There's enough nods to his story, but this isn't like Steve Carell is not playing Matt Lauer. Thank you, Jeffrey, for yes, it's the Today Show, not Good Morning America. So this is not the fiction version of that, but it's got enough nods to it. But it's also not as clear cut. For the first half of the show, you're really wondering how far Steve Carell's character went, because at the beginning of the show, he is fired for sexual misconduct, and they make it very clear that he didn't rape anybody. And then he's over here saying, well, men of power have kind of gone after women all the time, and it was always consensual, and why is my life being set afire? And then the deeper into the show you get, the more insight you get, and it was very, very, very well done. And Billy Crudup, who is not the star of the show, steals every single scene he is in. He is phenomenal. I just love him so much. He's just absolute great. And when I got done watching the show, I'm like, man, if that dude doesn't get nominated for an Emmy, I will be surprised. And lo and behold, he walked away with one this weekend. So good on him.
So I know that I tend to be the guy who like brings up other stuff that they've been in that they're really good in, but like if you're unfamiliar with this show, as I am, the only thing that you need to hear is that Billy Crudup was also the son in Big Fish, which if you haven't seen that movie, that one is absolutely incredible. It's emotional. It's got Ewan McGregor. So I mean, you got a good shot at it being an okay movie. But yeah, like knowing that his acting chops are in there is a good sign.
And he's super like eccentric but confident, and he brings his A game, man. And I mean, I don't know how much Broadway he still does, but if I could ever see him on Broadway, I would definitely see him, because he's a performance like just God. I'm telling you, he's really good on screen. And I came into the Emmys kind of pissed that Tom Pelphrey, who played the brother in Ozark season 3 this year, did not get a nomination. I'm guessing you haven't seen Ozark season 3 either.
Not season 3, no.
Okay.
That's another one I'm behind on. But even my mom was telling me I needed to watch Ozark. So,
well, I won't.
Yeah,
I'm on season 1 there. I won't spoil it for you, but a brother of one of the characters comes in to be a main season character for season 3, and he is phenomenal at emotion, and he's just his character just takes a roller coaster, and I was extremely upset and like sad that he didn't get nominated because at this time, or in the first half of the year, everybody was talking about his performance, but then after I saw the morning show, Billy Crudup for the win and he did win. So congratulations, that dude kills it. So
I mean, I know
another show.
There always tends to be a pattern that you see when you've got stage actors coming into motion picture,
right?
Where they command the scene. I mean, and that's honestly that's what they're trained to do because they're having to entice an audience who's like sitting right in there, and sell something that like they're not put into a world that everybody can believe. They're standing up on a fucking stage. Like they really got it up against them. And so you see that pattern where these Broadway actors generally tend to do really good. I can understand that it's upsetting that he's not getting nominated, but this actually brings up my issue with the Emmys, another reason why I don't really watch them. And it really kind of goes for all award shows. But like I can't help but wonder how much of it is actually like how much of it is actually legit, how much influence do you have to have before the show actually gets in there? Obviously, it could be leveled out as a conspiracy theory, but you got to wonder how much is somebody paying? Are they buttering up the people who are in charge of putting these awards together? Is it really about who you know? Like how much goes into these award shows and how legitimate are they to where, I don't know. Like I know that actors love being able to put in the credits in their future work, like Emmy nominated or Emmy.
Oh, it's less the actors,
winner
it's
stuff.
The studios. The studios love putting that. That's how they sell their trailers, you know.
Sure, but that's also like going to affect the actors' paychecks and stuff like that, and and other people. Like it's a great thing to have on the resume. Don't get me wrong, but like we have a similar issue with an award show local to our area that is very much about who you know. And
well, that's how they all are, right? I mean, we know how much how much Hollywood puts into their campaigns for their Oscar movies, you know. I mean, normally right now this would be the start of Oscar season, you know, and all the campaigns and everything to get ready for the Oscars. And I mean, especially this year, but even more just in the last couple of years, the Emmys, although they've always been seen as like second best or even third best, because you also have the Golden Globes, but you know, definitely lesser to the Oscars. Now that you see all these major networks putting all this money and effort into these shows, and these shows being sometimes bigger productions than some of the movies that get nominated, and they've got stellar content, and they've got stellar actors that they borrow from Hollywood all the time. Especially this year, the Emmys was more interesting to me because they certainly had more content to work with than I think the Oscars are going to have, with everything being pushed to next year. So I was definitely intrigued to see what the Emmys were going to produce, because that's all I've been watching this year. I've been catching up on all my shows, like the morning show and like Watchmen and like Schitt's Creek. And so I personally felt I was definitely more invested in the Emmys this year than I ever have been. And with the level of production that TV and streaming has had lately, it just seems like that's where more of the money's going now. Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, congratulations to Schitt's Creek because they won every comedy category.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And
which I don't know if that's happened before.
I don't know. But they've definitely, every time, man, I can't wait for the final season because I don't have cable, because I think it's on the Pop channel, or I don't know what channel it's on, but I haven't seen the final season, and I heard it's legendary. So it's about to drop on Netflix. I am stoked. But I would highly recommend all three of these: Schitt's Creek, Watchmen, and The Morning Show, especially for Billy Crudup's performance. But do you want to move on to DC Infinite and the news we got on that?
That's more my speed.
There you go.
So yeah. honestly, like I'm going to defer to you to lead on this one as well, because you are definitely the bigger fan of DC between the two of us. It's the business model that I'm excited about, but
Okay.
why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Well, what DC Universe started 2 years ago? I'm pretty sure it started in the fall. 2 years. I typed in DC Universe started, and Google says 1934. No, that's not when it started.
I mean, how
That's
specific do you really want to get?
Right, right. No,
technically the truth.
DC Universe started in October 2017, so it's been 3 years. And I remember when it started, there were titles like Swamp Thing and Young the Teen Titans and Young Justice, and there was stuff like that I was stoked about. I remember signing up at the beginning, especially since like they had all of their content on there, like every episode of Lois and Clark was on that. And that was enough for me to be, dude. I mean, Lois and Clark hasn't been on any streaming platform as far as I know outside of DC Universe. And I loved watching that. That was my show back in the day. Dean Cain as Superman. Hell yeah. So I was like, this is worth it. I signed up for the early thing. It was like $7.99 monthly, which is pretty good deal. You got comics eventually. You got all of these DC, animated movies. You got DC shows that weren't streaming on other places. You got a ton of content. However, ever since day one, DC Universe has just struggled. And then the closer you got to HBO Max launching, you saw premium shows like Doom Patrol moving over to HBO Max, like Harley Quinn moving over to HBO Max. Harley Quinn season 3, it's going to be on HBO Max, not DC Universe. Doom Patrol, the next season, it's going to be on HBO Max, not DC Universe. So me and you and a bunch of other people have been speculating the death of DC Universe, by the end of this year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of happening, but they're trying to rebrand it. And I mean, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but the rebranding is DC Universe Infinite. And for the same price, you're getting not as much content. You're only getting comics. You're going to get new comics 6 months after they show up, and all the video content is leaving. So they're turning into a strictly comic platform. And I get it, because they're chasing that digital comics, and we've known for a while that physical comics they're making most of their money in trades. So they're chasing the digital comics for the issues. But if you're not going to get it till 6 months later, then what's the point anyway?
Well, okay, so coming from a Marvel Unlimited subscriber, so I can read Marvel comics, the 6 month delay does not bother me.
Does it?
No, it does not bother me. I actually really like reading comics on my tablet as preferred to having an open book, because I don't know, like it helps tell the story in a little bit more of a linear way, instead of being able to see other things that are going to be happening on other panels in your peripheral vision. And then just like having your eye drawn to them right away. Like you're having to swipe between those pages. And so like you can actually be surprised by a panel. Like there's a different experience in catching it in a digital format. I still like physical media. Don't get me wrong. I've still bought a few books of like to encompass like an entire series of a comic that I've liked, especially some of the Star Wars ones that are on there, because like the Marvel Unlimited subscription, I mean, that's the entire Marvel comic universe. There's a shitload of content on there. The DC universe has a very similar amount. And honestly, if I were a harder fan of DC than I was for just really kind of like the Batman side, I'd probably jump on this, because first of all, it's cheaper than Marvel Unlimited. Not by a lot. I mean, Marvel Unlimited cost me like $11 a month or something like that, and we're only looking at like $3 less here, aside from taxes. Sure. But I mean, if you're an avid comic book reader and you're not worried about spoilers, which you really shouldn't be unless you're in a community of people who are constantly talking about comic books. That 6-month delay is not something that's going to interrupt your experience personally. I have not noticed a big shift in it. It really hasn't been a big problem on the Marvel side. I know that if they're going to be investing in something like this, it gives me a little bit of hope that their comic market is going to pump up there, is going to keep going, is going to keep pumping, maybe even a little bit harder, because they're like, you know what, we're not going to have shows on here anymore. We need to make sure that we need to try and keep as many people as we can here for the comics and make really interesting stories like Heavy Metal Batman, which is going on right now, which there's the Batman Who Laughs. Like there's all sorts of stories that I'm just now kind of getting into that I really want to catch on to. Having that 6-month delay isn't going to be a big problem because I don't have people who are trying to, like, it's not like the movie scene where you've got people who are trying to shove trailers in your face. Just talking, I mean, it's slightly unrelated, but The Boys episode 4 of season 2, like Amazon was advertising that specifically to me on my social media, and it spoiled part of the episode, like just little bits of the episode right away. Just in the first couple seconds of the trailers, just flashing stuff out there, just trying to like showcase that they've got another episode coming. It's like, stop it. What are you doing? You don't get that in the comic book universe. Like nobody's flashing panels over or anything like that. There might be some YouTube videos out there that are going over some stuff that's happened in the comic book universe, but that's easily avoidable. So yeah, the 6 months behind isn't there. The enhanced, I'm calling it an enhanced experience of reading comics in a digital format and having some surprises waiting for you on the next slide. I'm into it. I'm into it. And honestly, and there's a bunch of other perks that I haven't really cashed in on the Marvel side, but which DC Universe is already showcasing here on the screen that you've got. So, I mean, you've got member access to DC fan events, special offers from the DC shop. Let's see. It doesn't look like it. I believe on the Marvel side, you've got a discount on certain comics if you wanted to buy the physical media. I would not be surprised at all if DC has something like that as well. Unlimited offline access. So you're downloading comics that you want to read and catch them later. I don't recommend doing it on a phone unless their mobile method is better than Marvel's. I don't recommend doing it on a phone because the screen's it's just not big enough. Tablets make it just big enough to get there. Originally, they're moving up the time period for the DC Universe subscription. It used to be a year out for comics, and they're moving it up to 6 months now. So people who are already members of it are going to be stoked because this is a massive bump up in the amount of time frame that they've had to wait on new material, which is great. And then, of course, everything that you would expect out of a digital medium, which is access on all sorts of different devices. So you've got it on Android, you've got it on iOS, and you've got it on your desktop if you want. So there's I really like to keep the comic book world alive. Services like this are absolutely essential, and having it be a little bit more compelling now, I can see myself possibly I'm urged a little bit more to sign up for this instead of looking for the DC Comics in their physical media later.
Well, I do. Okay. Well, I'll give you that. I mean, honestly, the DC titles that I read, I probably wait 6 months or more for them to come out in their collected editions anyway.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
I'll give you that. I guess the cynic in me would wonder how many people of the original DC universe signed up for the comic side versus all of the video content. I mean, they had interviews, they had every DC related show ever. I mean, going back to the Superboy series to Smallville, everything was on there. They had all these movies, they had all the animated movies, they had the big blockbuster movies. They had a ton of video content. And that's honestly, for me, I'm not saying I represent everybody, but that's what I joined up for. And then of course they had all these original shows. So it's just interesting to me that they're rebranding it as DC Universe Infinite, and yet it's basically light. It's the light version of the previous DC Universe, and that they're cutting out all of that other content and just going to the comics version for the same price. And now I could be wrong, and the majority of them could be looking at like you and just saying, "Hey, this is what we wanted initially, and we're happy to continue paying for it." But I mean, that's why DC Universe has been struggling over the last couple of years, is because they've slowly started taking some of their properties from that and moving it over to HBO Max, or losing it to other properties or other streaming networks, and now they're just cutting it out completely. So I'll be interested to see, maybe this is what saves DC Universe or DC in general, because I know that AT&T has been cutting back a lot with DC lately. They just had some massive layoffs over there. I know they're trying to shake things up, and maybe this will be their saving grace.
I know that there's going to be part of that that's also going to be COVID related as well. Like there's going to be some job loss that they couldn't avoid.
Sure.
But if you're a current subscriber though, don't cancel just yet, because starting in October 2020, this is directly from the website. Starting in 2020, DC Universe subscribers will be able to confirm that they would like to continue their account to DC Universe Infinite when it launches. Confirming your account will provide uninterrupted access through the transition from DCU to DCUI. And as a thank you, any subscriber who confirms and maintains their account through the launch of DC Universe Infinite will also be eligible to receive a thank you DC shop voucher for $25 for annual subscribers and $10 for monthly subscribers. Yeah, so they're gonna throw you a nice little coupon. So yeah, don't bail on it just yet. Maybe take a shot to see, like, explore some different comics. Like if I jump in on this subscription, like it's staying the same price, so it's like whatever. But if I decide to jump in on this, it'll give me the opportunity to like figure out, like, maybe there's some Superman stories out there that'll make me not be kind of bored with Superman like I am as far as the comics are concerned. Maybe there'll be some. It's like maybe I can get a little bit more in-depth information on. Excuse me. Maybe I can get in a little bit deeper on Batman than I am already, like with like some of like the deep cut stuff that he's got out there. And another thing that we haven't talked about is maybe we see a bundle deal of some kind, because we're still talking about the same parent company for both of these services. Maybe we see a bundle deal of some kind between HBO Max and between DC Universe Unlimited, to where you just get billed from one place. And maybe they offer like a little bit of a discount, kind of like Disney and Hulu did when Disney Plus came out.
Sure.
Like, who knows? Like it's still pretty early, because this service still isn't launching until January 2021. Right. If they see like a huge influx of people leaving, maybe they're like, okay, fail safe. Let's bundle them together. Let's see if we can keep people in there. They pay a couple bucks more than what they're already paying. They get access to both. Done deal. Solid. That's the best that they'll do. Who knows?
Who knows? Sure. Well, and to your credit, the a lot of the content that they're pulling from DC Universe, they're not just losing it; they're moving it over to their other platform, right. Incentivizing people to sign up for their other platform. So business wise, it's not a horrible deal there. So we'll see about DC Universe Infinite. I know, the comic industry is always kind of on the verge of peril. So finding ways to up your ante and continue to keep your fan base is always, on their plate. So hopefully this does well for them.
Honestly, that's the best that we can hope for at this point. So
yeah,
it's kind of where we're at. All right, so I don't know if you're going to be mad at me or not, because we got a couple different options here.
Okay.
I did not watch the Mandalorian trailer or the WandaVision trailer, because I didn't know if we were going to react to it today. Okay. I didn't know if you held out or not.
No.
Okay, so all right, if you didn't hold out,
only because I knew you had a busy weekend, and I didn't know if we were going to talk on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. So
that is completely fair. So I can record those reactions separately, and get those sent out. That way we don't have to. That way we can like take up some time with some lightning round stuff or with some alternate topics, or we can figure something else out. What would you think?
Okay. Well, if we do it tonight, then I'm fine with skipping the lightning round and then doing some separate vids.
Okay.
However, this is in we do have it in the thumbnail, so I'll have to go change the thumbnail. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, we can still talk about the Mandalorian.
Oh no, we can't. We've talked about Mandalorian season 1, and we've talked about theories for season 2. We can't. I can't not talk about the trailer. Are you opposed to just putting it on the podcast, or would you rather record it separately?
No, I'm not opposed to just throwing it on the podcast. Honestly, too much time has gone by from when it's released to where like that releasing the video for the trailer reaction really gets the most steam, like right off of the bat. So I'm at a point now where no, okay. I would love to just watch it.
Well, let's just do it. Let me pull it up here.
All right.
Let me get it set.
I'm gonna kind of sync up with you as you go, so I can watch it directly off of my screen.
Okay, and I'll send you so that we're not watching different ads or whatever. I'll send you the link for which one.
I'm just watching it from the official the Star Wars channel, Star Wars YouTube channel.
Okay, Star Wars YouTube channel. There we go.
Yep. Minute 52.
Yep. Okay, so let me reshare a screen here. Share screen, share audio.
Nerferders, if you are watching now, we will have the trailer playing in video, so you do not have to do what I am doing. See, Josh, right away there. Boom.
Boom. Okay, right. So are we going to do a countdown here, like a 3, 2, 1 play?
Okay, well, real quick, since I haven't seen it, I'm going to give my predictions, but I'm going to look away from you because I don't want you to give me like a poker face as to whether I'm right or not.
Okay. I'll cover my screen. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm expecting Baby Yoda. I'm expecting oh man, what's her name? Gina Carano's character to come back. I'm expecting more of his boss, Carl Weathers' character, whose name I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm expecting to see the original characters once again. This time, though, in kind of relation to like something that you talked about the first season, I would like to see a little bit more fighter expertise on this one. I'd like to see him kind of like dominating the combat landscape a little bit. So a little bit of a hint to him maybe being better at fighting, maybe even a sparring match between him and Gina Carano. Be like, hey, you need to up your hand-to-hand game.
Yeah.
Like that'd be kind of cool. I think that I would expect that they're gonna drop a planet that we've been to before. Maybe in the films.
Okay.
And maybe we'll see the dark saber lit up again. Like I expect we'll see maybe some action with the dark saber. I know that there have been rumors going around that Ahsoka Tano is going to be in this season. I don't know if I would want to see her in the first trailer that we see for it. This is also a short trailer, but you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say that Ahsoka Tano or another Jedi character shows up in this trailer. That's going to be my guess. So those are my solid. That's what I'm expecting.
All right. Well, let's see how those expectations pan out.
And him using a jetpack because he wanted to have a jetpack.
Yeah,
he wants
that's
a jetpack.
Right. Okay, here we go. Pressing play in 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
It's a pretty looking planet.
Yep.
Is that Earth?
Naboo? Dantooine's fucked in this part of the timeline.
The ship was fucked.
Hey.
Only the one whose safety deemed such destruction.
Hey, he cares about that kid.
Must reunite it with its own kind.
Where?
This you must determine. The songs of eons past tell of battles between Mandalore the Great and an order of sorcerers called Jedi.
You expect me to search the galaxy and deliver it to the creature?
That was Ahsoka Tano right there.
No, that's not.
That's not. Okay,
Nope.
I saw orange skin. I was excited.
Woo!
You know this is no place for a child.
Yes, jetpack. All right, I won one.
Here he goes. So I've heard. This is the way.
Okay. All right.
What did that say? Right. Did that say October? October?
Yeah.
October 30th. Okay.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah. That was good. That was good.
Well,
really
you wanted to see him fight. You got to hear him fight. I mean,
yeah, I didn't win that one, but I really love the child just being like, you know what, I'm gonna close this thing up. Shit's about to get bad.
Yeah, like those firefly things, or what were those things called? Screaming fire or something like that.
It was something about birds.
Yeah, it was pretty badass. Yeah, it looks good, man.
I love the line, wherever he goes, like he goes where I go. That was really good. I feel like so that wasn't Ahsoka Tano who was showing up there in the first.
No, so that was that was an unknown character played by Sasha Banks, and you know, I mean, granted, it could be misleading.
She doesn't
but
look like Ahsoka Tano now.
No,
and the screen I was on was a little bit darker than that. So
they show her right when they're talking about the sorcerer Jedi. So is she a Jedi, or is that just, you know, a way of the trailer tricking you? Who knows? But we don't know who her character is just yet.
See, we're at a point in the universe now to where the Jedi are being, like, Luke's training another generation of Jedi. Like, that's what he was. That's what we are presumed to understand that he was doing. We didn't really get a whole lot of answers between, like, how much of that he actually got done. Kylo Ren also says that when he killed Luke, that he would have been killing the last Jedi, even though that wasn't technically true. Luke could have been talking about Rey, could have been talking about any number of Jedi who he had trained who, like, graduated, and they're like, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna be in exile. Sure. I don't want this attention. Who knows? She's also dressed kind of evil-ish. Like, normally when you see Sith characters, they're almost always in that all black look, but we're not in a world of Jedi and Sith in this universe. We're in a criminal underworld, so there's all sorts of different elements that we could be dealing with here, and I'm fucking stoked to see it. I loved the first season of this show, except for one episode, and it was the gunslinger episode because it was stupid, and the gunslinger character was a terrible actor. I fucking hated him.
He was pretty bad.
It's just that took me out of that episode completely. Yeah, that was a good trailer. I'm stoked.
So I'll give Star Wars this. No matter how many times they show us how incompetent and utterly pathetic stormtroopers are, every time there's a new trailer with stormtroopers, you're like, oh, that's badass. When he's like ramping his like speeder bike off a cliff,
throwing that bike off the edge of that,
that's pretty tight. That's pretty awesome. But then I watched the show and I'm like, my God, these stormtroopers are just so bad. Like they're the most incompetent imbeciles in the universe in the coolest looking garb. But that's it. Like that's the one thing.
it's especially funny because that's like a like one of the first things that we actually heard about stormtroopers in the Star Wars universe ever was when Obi-Wan and Luke arrive on Tatooine, and Obi-Wan points out that these blaster marks are too precise for Jawas or for Tusken Raiders. Only Imperial stormtroopers can be so precise.
And that was the last time we ever heard of precision and stormtroopers spoken again.
That was the only positive thing that was ever hinted at towards stormtroopers ever.
You gave them one compliment.
One line.
Yeah.
No, but it's still exciting to see them. It looks like they're in some sort of like a fighting pit. Okay, because we saw Tatooine, and I mean I know that Tusken Raiders are on supposedly are on other planets, depending on whether you want to consider that part of media canon or not. But
sure. But this is Star Wars. They like returning to their same 5 planets in the universe. So
we're also not returning to Tatooine in any significant way or anything like that. Obviously, we're returning to the criminal underworld, which is a big part of what Tatooine's economy runs on. It's a big part of what Tatooine is. This is looking like a little gambling pit, a fighter's pit. That was probably related to Jabba the Hutt's empire to some degree. I would imagine that we're going to see a Hutt character in this one if he's going to Tatooine, because they controlled that area. We didn't see the Darksaber, so I was wrong there. We didn't see Ahsoka, so I was wrong. I was wrong in a lot of places actually.
Well,
this is just a teaser, obviously. So like
it is a teaser. And I know you don't like to dig too deep, and this is not based on any facts that I've heard, but I have heard a theory that even though the trailer makes it look like she's a Jedi, there's a popular theory out there that she's actually Sabine from Rebels.
Okay.
See how? But there is it's got a lot of fans backing this theory. I haven't dug too deep into that because, like you, I don't like having things laid out for me too much before a show actually happens. But considering Ahsoka's going to be in this show, and Sabine and Ahsoka spent time together on Rebels, it could.
So it's confirmed that Ahsoka will be in this?
It is confirmed that Ahsoka's in this. Yes, okay. That has been confirmed. Everybody else, Sabine and all that, those are all theories. And we talked a week or two ago about some potential drama going on, and how there might be a mid-season switch in The Mandalorian. So basically, there's a theory that everything we've seen here is the first part of the season. The second season follows somebody else. And if that somebody else is Ahsoka, and we basically get, an Ahsoka show, it's going to be weird considering it's called The Mandalorian, but I'm really interested to see what happens.
It would make a lot of sense if that other person that they end up working with is Sabine.
Right? Because
she was a Mandalorian.
Exactly. So that is part of that theory. It's part of that theory. And we did see another Mandalorian bounty hunter, or at least from the boots, at the end of that infamous gunslinger episode. We didn't see who it was. There was a lot of theories that was Boba Fett, but it could have been Sabine. Who knows? So we'll see. October 30th is not too far away.
I can't wait, man. So this is a show where I'll clear my schedule to watch the episodes when they come out. But it's another one where it's another one where they're going to be coming out weekly. That's how they did it last time. I imagine they'll do the same thing this time around. So it's not a show that I can binge. And shows like that are generally easier for me. That's why I'm caught up on The Boys, because I was able to watch season 1 over not as long of a period, but I was able to get through it pretty quick. CC really liked it, so we went through it pretty fast. We were only a day late on catching episode 4, and that one was bonkers. But like, I like the weekly format. I know that there's people out there who want to be able to binge the show right away. It's like, okay, well then just wait until all the episodes are out. Fuck. And then just stay off of social media.
Well, they've been pampered. They've been pampered by the Netflix model, But it doesn't work. It doesn't always work in the studio's favor to just drop it, because if there's a lot of competition, you might rule that weekend, but then the next 5 weekends, all the other competition, gets to shine. Whereas if you have 5 weeks of amazing content, you rule each week. So I totally understand why they're not doing the binging model as much.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, it just makes it just makes things nicer to me.
Yeah.
It really does, and
But
a little bit more manageable.
We got one more thing from Disney Plus. Do you remember, Seth? I know it was a long time ago, but do you remember when we used to get multiple Marvel movies in a year? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do
when
remember that.
we used to have like a Marvel movie in March, and then in May,
right around 2,
and then in
2 to 3.
August, we had at least 3 in some of those years. We've had zero. We've had 0 Marvel content. And this time last year, what was Disney Plus selling us with 2020 going to be? It was going to be some crazy Marvel content.
shows.
We were going to get Marvel on the big screen with Black Widow, and then we had 2 Marvel shows that was coming to us in 2020, supposedly.
Let's be fair. The one movie that I was the one Marvel movie that I was most excited to see very recently had a huge wrench thrown into the works, a very tragic wrench thrown into the works. And so that's going to throw things off a little bit. And then coronavirus threw off Black Widow by quite a bit. And the jury's still out on how they're going to handle that shit. Like they've been pretty quiet about it. So
it's also thrown a wrench in what's the other one? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't even know if they're done with that show yet. The last thing I heard was that they were still filming and they had to stop because of Corona.
So Anthony Mackie posted a photo of him on set in the Falcon costume not too while back, but it was against like a very plain background building. There's really no information that we were able to get out of it other than he's got a slightly different suit than what he was wearing before. So zero information off of that photo. But he was on set.
We haven't even got a trailer for that, right?
No. But he was on set, and so it was like, is he on set now? Is this a current photo, or did he take that forever ago and he was just like, hey, what's up? Just to like keep the hype going for it. I gotta break it to you, Marvel. The hype is dead right now.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah.
You can ramp it up again really easily.
Well,
easily. It's not going to take a lot of effort on your part to get me excited about these shows again.
It's like they already had a mountain to climb after finishing the Infinity Saga, like convincing people that there's still content to happen. But now, I mean, at least coronavirus waited until after Endgame and the second Spider-Man movie. They allowed the Infinity Saga to finish, and then coronavirus was like, all right, now it's time for me to fuck up your plans. But over the weekend with the Emmys, we got an actual trailer for a Marvel show that is done and finished completely, and that is WandaVision. And honestly, it was as much as I really do want to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was more intrigued about this show than Falcon and the Winter Soldier from the beginning. Very intrigued about this. And if you want, we can pull up the trailer and watch that.
So can I share my screen? So I can hear.
Yeah, let's try to do that
through my speakers. Let me give this a go.
Do you see a share screen option over there?
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit this. Sharing screen is the easiest with 2 monitors. Yeah, I'll bet it is.
Make sure to put sound. If it says share sound, there's a little like checkbox when you click. Yeah, it's in like the bottom of the window.
Share audio, screen 1, share.
There we go.
All right. You should be able to see it.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Look at that. All right. Perfect. So, I'm not going to make any predictions here because just from the set photos that we've seen, this show looks like it's just going to be nuts. It's going to be all over the place. So yeah, I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm just going to jump right into this. So, So yeah, let's give her a go. You'll let me know if it's too loud.
Good.
Good.
Heavenly shades of night are falling. It's twilight time.
Wanda and Vision, aren't we a 5-pair?
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
Oh, this is gonna be a gas.
Where did you two
Shit,
move from?
sir.
How long have you been married? And why don't you have children yet?
Our story.
I think what my wife means to say is that we moved from...
Moved from where? Married when? Damn it, why?
Oh, Arthur, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
You have Kitty Foreman there. What the fuck? And not Red Foreman.
Like days of old, lighting the spark of love that fills me.
Am I dead?
No. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
Each day I pray for
Okay.
evening just to be.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
Oh, I don't think that was ever in question.
No, it really wasn't. Okay,
this
who's
is
that
coming
bitch and why does she
soon.
know? Who's
So-
that chick and why does she know who Vision is?
Who's what chick? Oh yeah, the friend. Yeah, the
Yeah. I know who she. I like as far as actors is. I just don't know who her
Right,
character
of course.
is.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
either. Other than the quirky friend that's always in each sitcom, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember that chick from Step Brothers, and she's absolutely hilarious. She's also on
Yes, she
Parks
is.
and Rec. She did a great job in that show.
She's fantastic.
Anchor, like she's in everything. So yeah, that was nutty,
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's initial thoughts?
So obviously, I've got to think that a lot of this is going on inside of Wanda's head or something. Maybe some of this is like, man, I don't even know, man. Like, I really don't know. I haven't done a lot of research on this. I haven't done any research on the show. Like, like the Nerferders know I don't do background research on shows because I want to catch the piece of media as it was intended without expectations. So like the trailers and the fucking media itself is all that I ever see when it comes to stuff like this. And so I am very much in the dark here. I'm trying to piece together as to what I would be expecting here. They focused on Vision in the real world a lot more than they did on Wanda.
Let's talk about the aesthetic of the show first. I loved so much about this trailer. I love the
sitcom-y feel that they've thrown into it, like even the classic old time sitcom.
I love the aspect ratio changing. I love the different sets. You can tell which of these is what am I trying to say, is inspired by Bewitched, and which parts of it was inspired by more like Brady Bunch days and stuff like that, or Roseanne. You see them in different outfits. You see her in a lot of different hairstyles. You even see them with kids in one of the quick snippets, which is interesting. I loved how you saw Wanda in the classic Wanda outfit and him in the classic, it was clearly for a Halloween episode. But that was kind of fun. That was really fun. There's a lot of sitcom things going on here. And I first thought that this was in her head as well. But then you saw that that other character being what looked like thrown out of a universe or out of a town into the real world. And which makes me think that I think this is
costume change. Like, didn't her wardrobe change? Like,
her wardrobe changed a lot. Yeah.
Well, no. The character in the car that Vision tapped your mind out of it. Like, I thought I saw her like, I don't know. It was like she swapped dimensions or something like that.
She was definitely in different clothes with each scene and everything. But the girl that they threw out,
Well, no, like while they were in the car, like she was in the car. I thought she was in like a different outfit, and then Vision touched her head and like kind of like zapped her, and then she was in like a witch hat or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember that. I know he zapped her and did something, and then she told him that he was dead, which was interesting.
Yeah. Am I dead?
feel
No,
like,
why would you think that?
Yeah, I feel like this is
okay. No,
I feel like she
looking
took
at it
over
now.
a town.
She was not.
I think Wanda took over a town, and everybody there is trapped in whatever freak show she's putting on.
Yeah,
including that woman.
That makes a lot more sense, especially like, and it also seemed like the male character who was at their dinner table there was kind of like causing some sort of a disturbance, or was like breaking out of the mind control somehow.
Right.
And that was kind of that was causing her to panic a little bit, and obviously Vision to panic, because I think that he's a projection of her, so they're going to kind of like mirror each other's memories from time to time. Like, we've got to remember that Wanda's powers were given to her by the Mind Stone. So they get to play, they're going to play, there's going to be a lot of mental fuckery going on in this show. And yeah.
But they showed so much of Vision, it doesn't seem like he is a figment of her imagination. It seems like he's out on his own. He did that Superman thing where he flies up and looks down on the town. I mean, it showed so much of him by himself. It doesn't seem like he's just something that she's generating. Like, I wonder, did she bring him back from a different universe or something, or what?
Like, well, so the question that it doesn't answer, that none of this answered for me, is like one of the theories that was going around after Infinity War, quite a bit, was that Shuri actually backed up Vision.
Right. She was trying to do something, right?
Like, she successfully, like she was able to save like his consciousness digitally, which makes sense, because it was kind of a digital setup that that he was created from.
Right.
And so there was a theory that they created that, and Shuri was able to reassemble him, and then maybe he finds his way back and goes from there. So maybe we're seeing, I would love to see, I don't think that we're going to, but I would love it if him flying in there and seeing her, maybe he's been like watching Wanda for a little bit to kind of like see what's happened or something like that. He's made it back alive, and then he shows up. She sees him after Wanda telling her what's going on or something like that, or maybe like filling her in. And he doesn't know what's gone on because he got backed up. He's trying to recreate everything. He's trying to like pick everything back in. I don't know. I'm all over the place. I don't know what to expect of this. This trailer fucked me up.
He definitely looks confused, and we do know that 5 years has passed since Infinity War, at least, because that's where Endgame picked up 5 years later, and he wasn't around in Endgame. The only thing I know for certain about this trailer is that the woman that was kind of thrown out of the universe is Tiana Paris, and she is playing Monica Rambeau, who is the daughter of Captain Marvel's friend in the Captain Marvel movie. And I know that she is an agent for SWORD in this show, and SWORD is the successor of S.H.I.E.L.D. So was she in this town to spy on Wanda? You know, it seemed like SWORD had their trucks and their like mobile units set up outside the town. So clearly, you know, they know that she's doing something. But yeah, this looks crazy. And then, you know, ever since we heard that this show was announced, there was theories that this ties into the Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is supposed to come out next year. And, you know, there's a lot of classic comics that show Wanda just losing her shit and fucking with reality. And I would love, I mean, as much as I love her and I don't want her to be like a full-on villain, but I would love for this to be just showing her breaking down throughout the different sitcoms and then leading into that Doctor Strange movie.
So, I mean, having her be a villain would make sense because especially in the comic book, Scarlet Witch has done some fucked up stuff.
Yeah, House of M is a clear example.
Yeah. I'm not getting House of M vibes off of this trailer.
No. Although a lot of people wish that were the case. They wish
that was the theory that
X-Men would come into the MCU. Yeah. I don't think it's happening, but yeah.
Like, I want to know who this like there's a fragment of this starting around like 105 of what looks like a little girl being tossed through dimensions.
Let me pull it up here. WandaVision.
It doesn't look like Vision. Like she clearly goes through a gateway of some kind, and it's almost like and it almost looks like she's like thrown through some sort of projection.
So that's Monica Rambeau. That is the agent for SWORD.
But it looks like she's thrown outside of some sort of like and digital projection.
She goes from daytime to nighttime in that too.
But like the next cut is the SWORD agents like right there around her.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like there's
something going on.
Maybe this is something that SWORD is doing to try and contain Scarlet Witch, to contain Wanda.
Or she's keeping them out and she's holding a whole town hostage.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very strong theory.
It seems like everybody else is like trapped in there with her, you know, and I mean, she, like an ordinary person like this who follows superhero culture might know that Vision is dead. I don't know. I don't know how well Vision was known to the world, but
all right. So I've got a wild theory here. Okay. Wanda has taken over this town. Mm-hmm. SWORD does not want to fuck with her because they aren't going to win that fight. They're convinced that they wouldn't win.
She almost beat Thanos. She's pretty powerful.
Yeah, she's a psychopath. The woman that we saw who Vision like tapped out of trance was under Wanda's influence like the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
She recognizes him because Wanda had the whole town have a funeral for him because he never got one. So she returns, she throws a funeral for Vision, discusses his memory, has a photo of him or something like that, explains that he's dead. Wanda continues to live throughout the day in like present day times without any visions or anything like that. And so we see flashbacks to that. She's using the stuff that's looking like old sitcoms to kind of live a happier life for a moment, just to try and like break herself out. She loses control at that dinner table scene in one of them. Like that's how she couldn't break out of that. Every episode is going to be themed around a specific sitcom or show, to where like that's a memory that she flashes back to. It's explained to us somehow that while she was imprisoned when she was growing up, these were the shows that she watched because she was in a third world country and they didn't have access to a whole hell of a lot of stuff. So she's reliving memories with Vision in remnants of her childhood shows that she watched that made her happy. Vision shows up, and that chick who got kicked out of that realm, I feel like Wanda chucked her out of there. Maybe her mind was busting out and it was like ruining the illusion for her, so she chucked her out of there. Perhaps Vision realizes that, or is like let in on it, or maybe even SWORD lets him go to like figure out what's going on. He gets through, and then he finds this woman behind the wheel of the car in some sort of a weird trance, taps her out, and then has that weird exchange, and then it goes on from there. Wild theory, but if I had to assume what was going on just off of this trailer, that's kind of the route that I'm going.
I mean, we haven't given much to to go off of, so that's as valid as a theory as the rest of them are. I will be really interested to see where, because it's obviously bigger than just this. I really feel like there's no way this is not leading into the multiverse of madness with Doctor Strange. But
Yeah,
I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see how Vision is back. I think your thoughts about Shuri backing him up are very logical. However, it would be weird that he wasn't there for Endgame 5 years later. Like in the 5 years, she couldn't figure out how to put him back in the body. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it definitely looks like this could be like sweet and nostalgic and yet really demented at the same time. So I'm really stoked about it.
It's this one scene with Vision and the woman in the car, not involving Wanda at all, that validates my theory in even in the tiniest way.
Because he wouldn't be in her head if that scene exists. Yeah. He's got to be separate somehow. He's got to be real somehow. So yeah, I think your theory has some weight to it. Jeffrey Miller says Doctor Strange will have to fix a lot of things after this show. Yeah, or this could just be like the spark that fucks everything up. I mean, Doctor Strange already kind of worked with some, with a lot of stuff in his movie. And I don't know if his partner in that movie, I wonder if he's going to come back. Chiwetel Ejiofor, I always mess his name up, but he was kind of a villain at the end of Strange.
Mordo.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to come back, but I would love to see.
He makes sense as the villain in that film.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. I could see this show having huge repercussions for phase 4. And I would love for it to span bigger than just
clearly that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah,
clearly that's what they're wanting to do. They want Falcon and Winter Soldier to be the same way. They want the other television properties that they do to have some sort of an impact. I think the Loki television show is obviously going to take place in a different timeline because of the way that things are explained in Endgame. So
maybe, yeah,
that's the only way that one makes sense to me.
Well, and originally Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out months before this show. So the shows might not be tied together as much as they are. Falcon and Winter Soldier could be more throwaway and this could be more vital. And that's why they don't mind that this is coming out first. We'll see. But so far, this is not on the slate for 2020. And yet they're saying it's going to come out in 2020. They haven't released the full...
Disney has promised that it will come out in 2020.
But they recently released like what's coming out in the next couple months, and this is not on the slate. So either they're going to throw it in there and throw everything, and surprise everybody, or this is going to come in mid-December, which is not currently. They haven't released their mid-December schedule yet. So we'll see.
I feel like they're going to surprise people.
I think they're clearly waiting for Mandalorian first. I mean, they've got that scheduled for October 30th. I can't see this coming out before then. Might as well just focus on that show, let it have its time, and then, however many episodes that show is going to be, 8 or 10 weeks later, we get this show maybe. So we'll see. We shall see. But I'm excited. I'm stoked.
Yeah. Man, we're getting vibes from all kinds of things. Like there's another scene here where Vision's kind of like the color scheme is sort of changing, and Wanda's got like this smile on her face, like she's happy because she's doing it. And Vision's kind of like confused as to what's going on. And that's
she's clearly running the show.
He like flies up.
Yeah. I'm so stoked, man. I love these characters. I love them in the MCU. I love them in the comics. Paul Bettany, I just love him as Vision.
He's so good.
He's such a great actor. He was a great actor before the MCU, but man, he makes Vision shine. And Wanda, I really did not like how she entered the MCU. I thought Ultron was a shit movie, but they have definitely worked hard to you know, her accent might not be as heavy as it was in that first movie, but they've worked hard to humanize her a lot and really bring her into the fold. And I really like what they've done with her. So I'm stoked for this. I'm really stoked for it.
I can't wait. And I mean, a lot of that obviously is because it's Marvel. I'm a huge Marvel fan. But it's also because COVID has been incredibly depressing.
Mm-hmm.
and it just seems to keep going. So
yeah, I wonder if there'll be. I seriously doubt it, but I wonder if there'll be any nod to Full House as one of the sitcoms, because Elizabeth Olsen's sisters were very. I mean that's their claim to fame, was the twins on Full House. So I wonder if there'll be any type of tongue-in-cheek nod to Full House as a popular sitcom when they finally get to the 90s era. Was Full House in the 90s? I think it was.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
It
might have started 89, dominant 90s.
But that was the Olsen twins, and then they kind of left Hollywood, and Elizabeth came and stunned us all, and I've just loved everything that she's done. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, the future looks bright for content creation as soon as this pandemic chills out. But as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is meant, but as far as the Disney Plus side of things, business as usual for them.
Well, I mean, they're looking to finish strong in 2020. So,
after Mulan,
they kind of had a hiccup with Mulan. I mean, they've been claiming big numbers with Mulan. I don't know how accurate that is. They said 30% of their subscribers paid that $30 POV.
Oof.
I mean, I think I can't see that as real, but 30%, and they're supposed to have 60 million subscribers right now. I don't
know.
That's a lot.
30%'s not great when you think about it.
30% of 60 million people paying $30 to see a movie?
No. It's a lot of money, but you got to think about this from a Disney CEO executive. He's gonna be like, "Oh, that isn't enough." Should have been.
I don't know. A third of my fan base paying to see a movie that they could wait 2 months and see it for free. I'm surprised, but I don't believe the number. But hey, who cares?
Who cares?
Do you have any lightning round stuff before we call it a night?
So I really only had one thing here, but if we hadn't watched the trailers, I could have gone on and on and on and on and on about it. But so recently, Microsoft. This is going to be some gaming news, but Microsoft acquired Bethesda and ZeniMax Studios.
I know.
Which is going to be, which for those of you who are unfamiliar with those studios somehow, we're talking the Doom franchise, we're talking the Fallout franchise, we're talking about the Elder Scrolls franchise, Skyrim, Oblivion, New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, all of that now belongs to Microsoft. And there have been statements coming from higher ups in the Microsoft world that the plan for acquiring those studios is to leave them alone and let them continue doing what they do. But obviously with some serious money back behind them. Now, one thing that makes me feel like that's possibly true is that Bethesda already had some stuff in the works. Elder Scrolls 6 is already being worked on. We saw an E3 reveal for that last year. Maybe it might have gotten some more info on it this year. I can't remember. But we didn't get an E3 this year, so who knows? The whole acquisition, obviously it makes you nervous. Makes you really nervous. It's because when a big studio buys out a small studio, you immediately worry about what the properties are, what the properties are going to end up having happen to them. But this one makes me feel hopeful because we're talking about a franchise that has had one of the biggest money-making franchises in the Xbox world, which is the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. So it would be in their best interest to leave them alone, but continue to fund them to do what they need to do. This could be especially good news for us Oblivion, or for us Elder Scrolls players, because I mean, if you've ever played an Elder Scrolls game or a Fallout game at launch, you're going to know just how riddled with fucking bugs that game is. The the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, when they get released, is essentially the beta test that just never stops, because it's basically just them throwing it out there and be like, all right, we'll let them figure out what's wrong with the damn game. And then they fix it, and then they fix it all later. Sell the game 500 times on multiple different platforms and multiple different versions and all that stuff, and then the cash just rolls in. It's what they did with Skyrim. It's what they did with Fallout 4. It's what they've done with New Vegas. It's a big thing for them. But yeah, that was really the biggest piece of media. There was a rumor right around before that happened that 343 Bungie was getting acquired by Microsoft, and Bungie had recently was it Bungie or was it 343 Studios? It was whoever use Microsoft. Okay, so 343 is already owned by Microsoft. Because they split off from Bungie. Microsoft bought them. I don't believe that Bungie company. I was like, I gotta say, it was like Microsoft acquired Bungie in 2000. I thought there was a buyout at some point involving Activision, but I can't remember for the life of me right now. I don't
here's
know.
My question. Here's my question. 2 weeks ago, we were hearing that Microsoft might buy TikTok. So did they were they just walking around with a big wad of money in their hand, and then they said, you know what, the TikTok thing ain't worth it. Who else can we buy? And they just happened to see Bethesda, and they're like, let's just take them.
So actually, what happened with TikTok is that their bid was declined.
Right.
So their deal was rejected. So that was actually,
and then Oracle kind of bought them, but not really. So that's been a thing. But I mean, and you mentioned some big properties.
TikTok got banned. So
yeah, right. Let's not forget about Doom, which has been another huge Bethesda game. And I don't know what you're doing, but you better. I mean, come on, panic button, finish the Switch version of Doom Eternal. Xbox One has the DLC for Doom coming out, and I still don't have the regular version for Doom Eternal. What the hell?
Welcome to the world of waiting for a PC port, man.
Sure, but let's be real. As much as we want to believe that Microsoft has the best intentions, and they say they're not going to touch anything, they just launched. I mean, this morning Schitt show with the Series X pre-order was on top of the other day's Schitt show with the PS5 pre-order. What does PS5 have that Microsoft doesn't? Games like Spider-Man, so anything that Microsoft can keep in their corner, or could possibly limit future distribution to only for their console. I could see that being a winning reason for why they would want to acquire certain gaming companies. So I don't know how many of those current titles under Bethesda are currently only on Xbox. I'm sure not all of them are, but I know Doom is only on Xbox, isn't it? But I mean, I'm sure somebody in the Microsoft office was like, maybe we can snag some of these titles for exclusives on our platform in the future, instead of giving PS5 more stuff to play with.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that
is Doom on PS5?
I don't think so.
I don't think it is.
I thought it was a Microsoft exclusive.
Well, but it's on Switch. But Switch is.
Well, it's coming now. Yeah, it was like
well, the first Doom is on Switch.
It might have been an exclusive at first, and became
it is on PlayStation as well. So if they can, I mean, can you imagine if Microsoft turns around and says all future Bethesda games are only going to be on Xbox? I mean, that would be a crazy power move.
So that's the rumor that's going around. But as a PC player, I'm fine because it's going on Game Pass, and I'm pretty sure that PC will get covered as well. That, and you cannot release Elder Scrolls without releasing a PC version of it. That's heresy. So I'm pretty well I'm pretty well comfortable with being able to keep my games there. But but yeah, that was about the end of the stuff that I had to talk about. Like I said, I had a bunch of photo work coming through. So yeah, it's been an insane. Let's see, I've had photo shoots every day since last Thursday. Things just kind of picked up. I've got another one tomorrow, another one Thursday, and then like 5 already scheduled for October. So yeah, things got busy again, which is great. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not complaining at all. But yeah, that's why we were a day late, because I'd paid work that I couldn't decline. We pushed the podcast out a little bit of a day.
Put that first.
I'm really glad that we were able to get together again, though, because I really love these podcasts. To the Nerf herders who watch, I really appreciate you guys. Make sure that you're hitting the like button on these videos. Let us know what you think. Hit us up in the comments. Be a part of the conversation. We absolutely want to hear your thoughts. And if we're not currently doing a live broadcast, or you don't feel like you're going to get our attention in the comments, hit us up on social media. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter. We will absolutely respond to customer feedback, to viewer feedback, to comments, all of that. We're in this together. So I appreciate you guys watching. Josh, I appreciate you for being around and doing your thing.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, sir.
What do you got going for the rest of the week? How are we closing this out? What are you going to do?
Oh, I'm busy at work. I might check out that Netflix film. I think it drops tomorrow. The Henry Cavill, Millie Brown, Sherlock movie. Did you hear about that? Enola Holmes. Yeah, something about that. I think that drops tomorrow. So maybe I might watch that.
Well, I was expecting some sort of like crazy. Maybe there was some like residual birthday plans that you're going to be doing, because our man Josh turned 34 recently. So wish him a happy birthday down in the comments below.
I'm recovering from last week. I'm taking it easy, man. I'm taking it easy. I'm chilling with my new dog. She's definitely keeping me entertained. So yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
well,
it's good chatting with you, buddy.
Yep, I'm gonna go address this cat because he's destroying something upstairs. I can hear it. And yeah, we'll go from here. Hit the like button, subscribe, make sure you don't miss any future content, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.
See ya.